Hello and welcome to the Mobile Home Park Expert Podcast. I'm Jason Sroden and I'm joined by my friend Glenn Esterson. And we're doing video today, Glenn, so they can see our lovely, amazing faces.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. It's it's fun to kick off a new season here. And,
yeah, man.
And get another year behind us, and hopefully at the end of this year, we're not going to be talking about COVID anymore.
I really hope so because I'm over it.
Yeah. Well, right now, two of my teammates are under it.
No kidding.
My buddy Dylan and Charles, they both got the COVID right now. Man, what a bummer.
I hope they feel better.
Yeah, one of them says it's terrible, but he's going to be okay. And then the other one says, well, I'm sick, but I'm still doing stuff.
Yep. It's so different from everybody. And I think, COVID really led us to kind of this topic that we're going to talk about today, because people have so much free time right now. And we're hearing people ask how to find mobile home parks to buy near you. How do they find mobile home parks that they in their area? And today, Glenn and I are going to talk about how to go out and find the mobile home park that you want near you or in the area that you desire. Glenn has a bunch of tools he's going to take us through. And on that note, Glenn, where does your search start?
Man, it's a long story, right? So I didn't know what I didn't know way back when. And like people don't know what they do. They just kind of come up with their own creative ways. Nowadays, there's some really great systems out there to help simplify this. But the way that I came up with originally, well, maybe not originally, but that once I had, some good internet and they had some good, tools on the internet, Google Earth was really my first go.
Yeah.
And with Google Earth, the benefit is even more so than the Google application on the internet, like the Google page, the maps. It's not as good as the actual app Google Earth for my purposes. And so what I would do is I wanted to find all the parks at first in my county. Okay. I wanted to see every park in my county. So I went to Google Earth and I went to my county, and I would literally go line by line. I'd start at the very top of my county, the northwest corner, and I would come out to about 10,000 feet, and I would scroll all the way to the east side of the county, one screen at a time, dropping pins on all these little white slashes, because that's what the park looks like from 10,000 feet. You just see a bunch of rooftops that are usually white or rusty colored, but once you get the hang of it, you can pick them out. And I would drop pins on these parks.
You think you could do it blind? Like right now, if we tried it, you would be able to do it quickly?
Oh, yeah, I still kind of do it nowadays when it's an area that for some reason I don't have coverage on. We'll go in there and we'll drop some things in and then go figure out the research.
Later we should do that. I think I'd like to see how you do that.
Sure. So here, I'm going to share my screen.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to go over to my Google Earth that you can see here. So right now we have, I have I got a lot of stuff in my Google Earth because I really enjoy using this tool.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn a few things off just to make our life a little bit easier.
Do you have permission to share the screen?
Can you see it?
No, I don't see your screen. Oh, there it is. Here it comes.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. And, excuse me. So here's essentially the United States, right? And we're going to scroll in, and I have North Carolina up right now. North Carolina, I did this by hand.
Wow! Oh my God!
I did this by hand, Mike. And that took a hot minute. Okay, but basically,
oh my God.
When I would start, as you can see, we have every county, and here's all the different. Now, forget about the difference in colors. I think at one point we got bored and changed colors or something like that on the pin thing. But basically, every park in North Carolina, as far as I know of, bigger than 10 units, we've dropped a pin on it at this point. And then I would go through it, and I would add, I don't know what park this is, but then I would add, the information on that park. We would number it, and we would name it. Hopefully the right name, but park names change, so you have to be a little flexible. And all the basic information, like this is a 16-unit park. Okay.
Wait, so you put those in there? You made little notes too?
Yeah, we would make notes, and the notes got more sophisticated over time. They started off kind of like notes like this. Oh, okay, so here's this person. Either I talked to them And, I'll scroll into it and you can kind of see what happens when you're looking at it.
Man, imagine if we had the whole United. Oh, look at that.
Yep. So I do have the whole United States now. Most of the whole United States. And so, when I'm scrolling through parks, I'd be like, ooh, that's neat. I went and bought a service called Report All USA. And guys, I highly recommend this, okay? Report All USA. Or I think it's RE Portal USA, something like that. But it's
oh my God, are those the owners?
Yeah, so that gives us all the county, like here's the owner's name right there, Heath Albert Ray for this park. Then here's the parcel information. And so you can kind of go through this. Now you don't get a phone number, but finding a phone number is pretty easy nowadays.
And this overlays over Google Earth?
This overlays over Google Earth, right. And so I would be able to,
wow.
We also picked up some extra tools like a flood zone tool and an opportunity zone tool. So we'd be able to see, for instance, this side of the park, which is not the park, but here's an opportunity zone right here. And then as you'll see, the overlay is going to show us that, hey, this is not in an opportunity zone and it's not in a flood zone. Well, that's good. That'd be nice. Wow. If it was an opportunity
How much
zone.
is this tool?
It's like $300 a year. It's such a great tool. So I really recommend people to use this.
They should sponsor us, don't you think?
Say it again.
They should sponsor us.
Yeah, for real. They're a pretty big company, but they really do a bang up job, and they cover most of the country. And so I would go through county by county, and start at the top corner and scroll from left all the way to right, and then come down one frame and go all the way back and drop these pins, and then go research these pins. But once Parlay came around, it made life a lot easier, and I really recommend you guys use it. Because next
Parlay.
I think that's the parent company to Report All USA.
Okay, gotcha.
And you just go in there and you buy a subscription. They send you a link, and boom, it's done. And we go through and get these notes, and you can go find a person's phone number pretty easily out there. Like a website that we use a lot of is called. How do I hide this thing? It is called Fast People Search.
That's good.
And with Fast People Search, it's very easy to really come down with anybody. You can search by phone number, you can search by name or address. Just to kind of show you real quick how easy it is. I would just type in your name, for instance, and in your case, you live in New Hampshire, in Barrington, New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And you just pop in what information you can, and boom, there's everything I need to know about Jason Saratin, all his previous addresses.
Wait, this is free? Anybody can do this?
Anybody can use this. Anybody can use this. Just Fast People Search. It's free. It's the easiest thing in the world. And here's a bunch of phone numbers that may or may not work. Here's all the people that you're associated with, and we can dig real deep on lots of things.
Oh, great!
Yeah, it's amazing.
Don't dig too deep.
But that's kind of what how we do it. Even still today, we have another system that we use called Monday, which is kind of where we house all of the contact information. So, like you can see, we categorize everybody by everything all the way through, and this really helps us understand who the buyers and players are out there. And as you'll see, there's just thousands. So these are all new entries here.
That's crazy.
For things to load. But as you'll see, we have data points on every park and every person really ever in this industry. And so it helps us with the Google Earth to find all that stuff. It's this is my entry point to looking for it. Now, other people start their databases more traditionally. And some great ways to start a database is if you have access to CoStar, okay, which is a real estate kind of listing service. Mostly brokers use it, but anybody can get into it. They're actually the parent company of LoopNet, which most people have heard before. Okay?
Yep, I've heard of them.
They're expensive, but you can go into their system and download every product type in every part of the United States. So if you want to look for a mobile home park owner in Atlanta, you click the Atlanta MSA for mobile home parks, and it will bring in everything they have in their database about it, and with pretty strong information, but they don't have 100% of information. So you have to go to multiple sites like that, and you can do it. Of course, there's some services out there that will build a database for you. I've never used them, but I hear people using them. You know, if you're going to build your own database, you know, you got to really take ownership in it.
Totally.
And the way that we look at our database, when it was in Excel, which is kind of where all databases more or less get housed ultimately, you know, at least in the beginning, starts on an Excel sheet. You know, we moved ours to Monday and over to an Amazon server and stuff like that. But our Excel sheets would be, you know, 150 columns, maybe, you know, of information per client, and then same amount of information for park. And we would go to all these other data sources, get all the information we can. So we might have 5 listings on one owner or one park.
Yeah.
And we'd have to consolidate them down into one. It's tedious.
By hand? But see, I think this is a shining example. People are always at what separates successful people from non-successful people. The ability and the focus to sit on a map, zoom in, and scroll across ever so slowly and put each little dot. So when you're thinking, oh, can I make it? Can you do this? The question you have to ask yourself is, am I willing to put myself through this? Look at this.
It takes a lot, because there's plenty of counties, like you go through and like, here's a county. I remember going through this one and being very frustrated after going through that whole county to only find 5 or 6, you know, 10 parks here. Okay. Because each county, when I would do that, typically would take me about an hour and a half to go, you know, east to west, north to south. And it's frustrating. And then in some counties, like go over to Buncombe County, you know, it's a crazy amount of parks in the Asheville area. So this probably took me close to 3 weeks to go through and find all these parks, especially with the mountains, like making it all real hard to see things. But you know, you get in the habit of it and you start doing it. I don't recommend that's how you do it nowadays, but if you're just trying to do one county, it's a great way to do it.
So I think the obvious question that's coming to my mind is like, isn't there a site that just lists all the places I can get?
Well, there are, and places like that, you know, exist, but they don't have all of them. They have what they have. And that's the same information that everybody else has. And so that owner on that list is being, you know, contacted 100,000 times a day. For me to be successful, I realized I got to go where people aren't going. And so I wanted to find all the parks that weren't on this list. Now, even the best lists out there typically only have maybe 50% of the parks, okay? Like on the CoStar thing, at best they have 50%. Nowadays, there's some better systems coming out, like Reonomy just came out. It's fantastic, okay? Pretty much makes everything I've done the last 10 years obsolete as far as finding ownership information and park locations. But they charge you thousands of dollars to be a part of it. You know, you have to buy a subscription. I think mine's like $500 or $600 a month. But it gives us even more information that we, you know, can utilize one way or another. I love data. So, we're always looking for extra data.
That's how you make smart decisions. It's how you get on the right path, right? Like by doing this, you can see what all of the potential hazards are, and the opportunities, seeing that opportunity zone and being able to be like, okay, I'm looking for only opportunity zone stuff. That is so cool. And you can make smart decisions. I love it.
And then you buy the demographic layover and you can start seeing what parks are in areas that have housing prices north of $300,000. And you can start seeing what school districts are the best school districts and what parks are located in them. You can buy all these really neat little add-ons. And if you can't buy it, you go to Fiverr and you hire somebody to build it for you. And a couple $100 later, they've built it for you. So what we do that pretty regularly. And for the buyers that are very demographic based, it's a great tool to have. Now, as you can see how slow my Google Earth is now, because I have probably 60,000 entries put into my Google Earth, it really slows down and it's cumbersome. But, I just turned on the whole database so you guys can kind of see what it all looks like. I'm not going to turn on the flood map. It would probably crash it if I did look at it.
Are there a lot of flood areas? Is that a big thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of flood areas in the United States. But as you can see, like, I'll scroll out, and we have virtually the whole country done. I think there's a stretch from North Dakota to Mississippi that we just kind of skipped over. But as you're seeing here, it bogs down pretty quick once you start turning on all of the features. But this has been a great way to do it. The way that most guys do it initially is if they're a broker, they go and get CoStar and download what they can out of there, and they call the same 20 people that everybody else is calling. Or you can build a web scraping tool, which is something that we occasionally do, and go run it across the mobile home park store, run it across Crexi, run it through CoStar and LoopNet, and get everything that's publicly out there for sale right now and drag it into an Excel sheet along with whatever offering memorandums and things like that come with it, so we can better understand what the market is from other brokers' standpoints on their pricing and how they're looking at it. And, you can do all these really creative things. I had no idea how to do any of this. I don't know how to do this stuff even today, but my guys do, and it's really neat. Me, like a schmuck, I sit there and drop a pin after a pin after a pin, and then go look on the county website and do it the old school way, like I was trained to do 20 something years ago. Apparently that's all 20 something years ago. So nowadays, the people are using what's called skip tracing and some of these other tools like that to get the contact information, or hiring a VA from somewhere else around the world for $5 an hour to go do this stuff. And that's great. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat as long as that cat gets skinned, right? So depending on how you want to do it, there's multiple options to get a database. We often share parts of our database with buyers. Like, for instance, if I don't know why the map's being so weird. I better turn some of it off because it's acting insane. But like if we were doing a deal if a buyer was in, call it Southwest Kansas, we probably don't have too many parks that we've been chasing down in Southwest Kansas. But if a buyer or client calls and say, hey, I live down here, I want to buy some parks. Do you have any information you can share with me? We oftentimes will say, okay, here, we'll do your county for you. We'll give you all the parks between 10 and 75 units. And what I want you to do is call those parks, update my information for me. But if you find anything for sale, high five, like go and buy it. If you don't find anything for sale, we'll give you another county sometimes. But what we expect is the data in return that you've called everybody, you've gotten the current rents, you've gotten the current lots, and you've given us those updates so we can update our system and have it a bit more complete. And that's worked pretty well for a few people. Most people, they get intimidated and they say, oh, yeah, I'll do that. And then they realize how friggin' hard it is to call through and call everybody and get the right notes and stuff. So, there's ways you can do that. I'm sure
important are those calls?
Probably doing the same thing.
How important are those calls, Glenn? Those first initial calls to establishing the relationship. Can anybody do it, or is it important that anybody can do it?
Anybody can just pick up that call. Hey, I'm Bob. I'm thinking about buying a park. I live in this area. I saw your park. I'd like to say hello. Are you interested in selling your park? Yes or no? No. Okay, no problem. But do you mind if we stay in touch? Because, I'm here. I'm a new guy, and I'd like to learn the industry. And most people love to help other people if they have the time, right? Yep. Most people want to be that guy. Oh, I'm a mentor to that guy. People love that stuff. And if you give them enough of a gift while you're talking to them, often what I mean by a gift is, hey, I'm calling you for information, but I'm going to give you some information first. And that might be like, hey, I just did a rent comp survey for our neighborhood, and your park is one of them. I was hoping to talk to you about it. And I'm more than willing to share the results of the rent comp with you, and kind of do these things that get some buy-in from the seller to understand that, no, you're actually trying to do something. You're not trying to waste his time, and you're giving him a gift. Of course, if he says, hey, come down and talk with me, bring a gift with you, bring a bottle of whiskey, bring a bottle of wine, bring something, and make it worth, their time. People are always more friendly when they receive a gift when they meet you, right? And I think video is also a powerful tool. If there's a way to make a connection via video, send somebody a link. Hey, I'm Glenn and I'm interested in your park. Please keep me in the loop.
it breaks down the barrier when they can see a face. And we have
it
the
really
tools
does.
available to us.
Because otherwise, you're one of the 100,000 people that are sending him a postcard or leaving him a voicemail. And you go into these meetings with these guys, and I've literally seen stacks of postcards, taller than a foot. I get postcards every day. Why should I listen to you? Or I'll just call one of these postcards. Well, if you go down and meet with them, you have some eyeball contact, you make a good connection with them, it's going to oftentimes put you at the higher end of that list. Now, if you can't buy their park, be real with them. And oftentimes that can turn into a wonderful friendship. And so you want to kind of, you need a way to keep track of it, of all these 100%. People and all these parks. And I'm a big fan of either Excel or Monday.com. We're all Monday.com people now. There's plenty of other CRMs, but Monday really for us has worked wonders.
And you know what's so funny is for my video production company, I use Monday, and for your mobile home park company, you use Monday.
Crazy, right? It's the most useful thing out there.
It is flexible. It is affordable. It is not a bunch of confusing bullshit, and adoption is relatively easy.
Yeah.
Man, Glenn, exactly. I'll tell you what. Today I'm so glad we talked about this because it revealed so many different things that I didn't understand about the industry, and it showed what it really takes to go in there and win, because it is a competition, and the person who goes in and makes these plays and does that data work using your tools or whatever new tools, that's going to make a huge difference in where people end up in the business.
I think so. And really, if you know all the data and you have all the data, and like we're data is not as like secret as it used to be. There's so many guys out there that want data to be shared, right? So it's pretty easy to find. You can go online and go to the FEMA website. I don't know the link offhand, but you go to the FEMA website, they have a list of every park in the United States. It's 55,000 parks from 5 units and up or something across the United States. So that's one little list. They don't give you anything more than an address, really. And then I think they give you a small, medium, large type of sizing, whatever the hell that means to them. But you take that list, you can put that into Google Earth. Then you go through and you start, looking at the parlay and seeing the owner's information, getting that, going to Fast People Search, getting the phone numbers, making a call, putting all that information into Monday, and then you can start building out your own pipeline with it. Now, again, there's probably better ways to do it, but I don't know. I do a lot of deals, and this is kind of the way that I teach my team to do it. And we always bring in new systems, but at the end of the day, it still boils down to those basic functions. And I would really recommend, if you're thinking about building a database, that you get with some of these systems that are out there. And of course, we would love to help you, and we would love to help you find your first deal, and you can go source it and not pay a commission and all that kind of stuff. But we would want data in return. And if it's a deal of a certain size that you can't take down, we would want to be the guys that you tell first, hey, this guy's a seller. I'll make the introduction for you. I can't hit his number, but maybe you know somebody that can. And we do a lot of those deals, and that's really great for us. And that makes it very reciprocating. And if and when you do get your deal and you close it and you're a park owner now, man, if you want to send us, a nice little gift, we're all about it too. We love that aspect. My guys on my team, we love getting a bottle of whiskey and things like that in the mail. It's always real nice to help see this thing come full turn. But you can also sit there and talk to the brokers. Brokers will give you deals to go look at. But if you're trying to build a database so you can go find your own deal, because that's really where you're going to save the most money on your acquisition most of the time, because you can negotiate whatever you need to negotiate. That's a really good way to do it. Yeah, Google Earth, parlay, Monday, and you really have a winning system, in my opinion.
There was something that I was thinking about when you were going through this. We have a common friend, Justin, and he's taught me something. I'm working with him more closely over the past year. And I think that you have it too. And it's something that I lack, and it's good ground game. It's being able to not rely on the digitals to do the work. Yep. It's about that getting out there and touching people and having conversations and bringing back the human element, even if it can be looked at by some people as super fucking annoying.
Yep. That eyeball thing, man, like you and I, we can't connect eyeball to eyeball through Zoom. We just can't. And over the phone, you're only going to trust me so much over the phone. But if I come and sit down with you, you and I are both going to get a real good read on who we are. And that eyeball to eyeball thing really goes the distance with owners. Now, I'm in the field that, like, I used to believe you had to meet everybody and go sit down with everybody and see every park and do everything like that. Nowadays, I don't know that it is as necessary because there's a lot more velocity and travel is expensive and it is time consuming. But boy, the deals that I do go and meet with people, oftentimes it becomes a permanent relationship for me in my career. Even if right then and there they weren't ready to transact, sooner or later, they know that they've met with me and that they trust me and that we're going to do something with each other over time as we create a relationship. And so the long-term payoffs in this business is great. You're in this business for short-term. You're just trying to get in, make a buck, and get out. It's a little bit harder.
Play the stock market.
Yeah, go play the stock market. Go buy some Bitcoins.
Go buy some GameStop. Glenn, thank you so much for the wisdom today. I think a lot of people are going to really love it. Let's go through the softwares that we're recommending. So
Sure.
Parlay, and we have obviously starting with Google Earth, Parlay, and then what was the overlay?
The overlay is called Parlay or RE Portal USA is their name as well. But if you just search Parlay real estate parcel search or something like that in Google, you'll get to the right spot. Then Fast People Search is a really great one to dig up people's contact information. And then Monday is the system that I like to use, although Podio has a great system and there's some other systems out there that I would recommend.
Don't make project management software decisions. Don't take them lightly.
Yeah,
They're very important. Like
very, very
really
important.
Study what's going to work for you, because if you get in there and start having problems with it, remember, if you don't get adoption, you're just throwing away the money. So make sure the system works for you.
Yep. And if you got a few bucks to spend and you want to commit to a year contract with a company, we just signed up with Reonomy, and I have to say they probably have the best technology out there right now. But it's expensive, guys. It's like $6,000 or $7,000 a year, and it's a commitment. But you have a ton of data to choose from. That is as far as I can tell, it's very accurate data. It won't give you necessarily the kind of finite data that you'll get by scrolling into a park and counting the number of lots and counting the number of homes, seeing what the road conditions are and doing all that kind of stuff. But it will give you some really good context to be able to try and make a deal with somebody at some point in time.
I love it. Glenn, how can people get a hold of you?
Pretty easy guy to get a hold of. You can Google me. You can go to my website, or you can go to one of my two websites, EstersonMHCteam.com or themhpexpert.com. And, of course, we have our hotline number, 720-MHP, the number 4YOU, MHP4U. And you can reach us, through that way as well. And our websites are probably the easiest way, or Google, by all means.
And G. Esterson at themhpexpert.com, correct?
Yep, that's my email. Yep.
Awesome. Well, yeah, absolutely. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We have new topics now every week. Glenn and I are going to try to be more regular with everything as we get past COVID and into this new age. Thank you for joining us, and please feel free to drop us a line and tell us what you'd like to hear us talk about. Have a great day.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Glenn. Have a great day, man.
All right, buddy. Be good.
Bye.